What do divorced men really want? Especially in a new relationship. If you're a man and you've been divorced, you're in the right place at the right time on this segment of A Scared to Remarry. We have a special guest with us today. First time guest. Today's guest is a man of God after God's heart. He's an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, barber, and barber instructor. He also helps men and women have a safe space and open dialogue to talk about life after divorce. So, I had to have him on the show, right? Brave Hearts community, let's show some love to Jonathan Mayo. How are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Let's go.
Let's go for sure. Yeah. So when you reached out to me and we talked about the whole, going through divorce and just having a man talk for a second, I'm definitely glad that we're about to have this conversation. And so I want to jump into today's segment. So, what do divorced men want in a new relationship?
Uh, I think what most men want is they want to be able to, first of all, feel appreciated and be able to be their self finally in a committed relationship. They want to be able to be them, like, because we have so much with society or church or what people think we should be. And then finally,
Mhm.
when we go through this whole thing of like, we finding our identity after a relationship, breakup, or divorce. So once we go through that, it's like this is what I want, what I'm looking for. But a lot of people don't feel like you should have the time to do that.
Yeah, because and of course I talked about this topic last week. And so to those who missed that episode, go check that out. I have it linked in the description because we were talking about this whole healing process. But in this segment, I wanted to talk about just moving on, but I
Hmm.
do kind of want to talk about some of your experience as well, because as a barber, I'm sure you hear a lot of talk about what men go through going through a divorce. Like what does those conversations sound like, if you don't mind?
They that a lot of them are actually heavy more than you think. Um, I remember I'm gonna tell you a little story quick. I remember one time was a guy came in there. Actually, I was cutting on a military base, and the guy he came in. His wife, um, he was overseas. His wife just came in. Well, just came in or whatever. Well, she didn't come in, but he was overseas. He came back or whatever case may be, and found out she was cheating on him with another guy. He actually came into the. They've been married for a while, and he was another captain. He was like riding his motorcycle in his house and all this stuff like that. Right? He came into the barber shop and he was like, he was just looking down, and we had to literally shut the barber shop down because the guy wanted to kill himself. He actually what he wanted to do was kill himself, kill the guy, and kill his wife. So
Wow.
so he wanted to do out. So we literally had to shut the barbershop down, really talk this man off the ledge. And you got to think about it. He was overseas thinking he good with his family to come home to see something like that. That touched my heart. So that's when I saw things from a different point of view. And of course, at the same time, he's going through depression and all these things in his head. And that was just, but he's good. He's good. But that could have went left real, real quick.
Yeah, yeah, I only can imagine, man. Oh my God. Yeah, and this is why we have conversations like this, because I think sometimes men, we don't have that space to
Hmm.
be human, if you will. Sometimes that even looks like that in our marriages. Sometimes, we can't even be human to our spouse because they might not be able to quote unquote handle us, if you will. And
Right.
so I'm glad that we're having this conversation. I'm glad to hear that he's actually okay.
Yeah. 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 He's good.
So, what led you to help people, especially men, with navigating life after divorce?
I would say the reason why it was more of a mission for me because I know when I was going through my divorces that I didn't I had to navigate through it by myself. And that's hard. That's very challenging, especially when you're trying to be a healed version of yourself or become the best version of yourself. It's very hard when you don't as men, we don't have community. That's very big. We try to do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff by ourselves, and then in that space, we don't have nobody to talk to and talk about the real stuff. So that's why they do come to barbershops like, yo, my wife did this, da da da, whatever the case may be, or life in general. And then they probably is going through a divorce or separation and trying to navigate through it. It's really they just want to be human in the moment to just express how they really feel. No judgment, no zone. They be like, sometimes they come, they be like, man, I effing hate my or dang, I want to kill her, whatever they want to say, you know what I'm saying? They get a time to really vent and what, and without me saying like, dang, yo, you need to do this, you need to do that, this how you need to do it. No, just express yourself, get off their chest so they can move forward in what they really want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. A shout out to everyone that's on TikTok. If you have any questions for our guests, and yes, Dr. Amy, we are live on YouTube, and we have 2 episodes running back to back. So this is our double
Okay.
header. How did your faith help you process your own divorce?
Repeat the question.
How did your faith help you process your own divorce?
How faith helped me was I had to learn in this part to like I learned that God trusted me. That's what I had to learn because I never,
Mhm.
of course, I depend on God and He helped me and things like that. But my faith was like, yo, Jonathan, you can get through this. Like you're stronger than what you think you are. You are enough. And that was a big thing for me because I never felt like I was enough in my marriage or in the separation phase or even a man. I'm like, dang, like all this stuff happened to me. Like I did all this stuff. I did everything right and tried to do the best I could, but I'm still not enough.
So, if you don't mind me asking, because I wanted to kind of take this a step further, what made you possibly feel that you weren't enough? Because I know sometimes a lot of men, and all of us struggle with that from time to time. So, what brought that on? Was that, if you don't mind discussing some of that?
The reason why I felt like I wasn't enough because I felt like actually I was talking to my therapist like a couple of days ago of not well in that space of not feeling enough was because I felt like growing up I had to prove that I was enough. I had to prove I had to do a lot of stuff to be like to be loved or be feel cared for. It wasn't just like, oh, I love you because you're my son. I wasn't loved because you not even saying you made good grades, but just because you are who you are. I love you because I do care about your well being and stuff like that. So I never felt enough in that space. And then sometimes my mother wasn't as nurturing as I thought she should be. And just navigating through that, yeah, like just feeling like she was good on the good grades, being a good kid, but me just being Jonathan, my quirky, laughing self, just being me, nah, that just felt like it wasn't enough for her. So yeah, or you know, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure, because I've been there myself, right? And I've talked about this on numerous episodes where I grew up in that household. I'm part of that children should be seen and not heard generation.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
my mom, she worked, and I had to take care of my little sister. And I always felt like I was only as good as what I can do. And I'm talking about like at 11 years old. I
Right.
ran whole house
Yeah.
at 11. And so
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
yeah,
Grown
right.
man. Just can't pay bills.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I might as well could have just got a job too. But going through that process, I didn't feel like I was loved for who I am as a person. And so
Mhm.
that hindered me tremendously when it came to relationships because I always felt like I had to do not to be loved for who I am. And so once I gave my life to Christ and I really started to, because at first even that was hard for me too, right? Because I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know you died for my sins. Yes, but I had to fight through
Yeah.
knowing that I was loved unconditionally by Christ, even though I didn't get that at home. So that was a tough dynamic for me. And I struggled with that for years. So that's why I brought that up because I hear
Right.
that from a lot of men, especially, the 35, 40, forty
Yeah.
five age range, you know?
Yeah. And
Uh,
I think sometimes we just want as men, we just want to be. Can we finally just be?
mhm.
Can I like matter of fact, can I be sad today? Can I be angry today? Can I just not show up today? Like just simple stuff. Can I just be can I just smile and not feel like I gotta perform or be on? It's just I feel like smiling today. I feel like being happy today. Yeah, I'm a little sad, but I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's real, man. Yeah. Man, so many brothers, and I need to talk about that in another episode where, brothers who just going through that process where we just need to have that conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's talk it out, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, what's the biggest misconception about what divorced men want?
I think the misconception of what do divorced men want is that they really they really want to be seen and heard, really more on the heard part, because
Mhm.
most of the time after it, we lose our voice and we lose our identity too, especially when it comes to the voice of what I feel and what I think and what my emotions is, that we're still human too. And sometimes, um, I can't be Superman all the time. I'm Clark Kent too. So sometimes I need to take off the cape, put it on me. Sometimes I might just need as a blanket. Sometimes I just need to um just take it off. You know what I'm saying? The weight sometimes. Like we're just human beings, human we just what I say, my analogy is um we're just dinosaurs on skates. Like we just skate around trying to figure it out, man. We just try to figure it out just like any other person.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the misconception with men is we're going to have it all together,
Mhm.
especially going into marriage. It's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I think we have this expectation for women
Yeah.
to a degree too, but I think for men, it's like, it's really about this kind of checklist thing. Like, what is the things that he have? Women can be on the phone and they're not like, girl, who he is as a man. It's like, no,
Yeah.
girl,
Yeah.
what he do?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
You know what
And
I'm
that's
saying?
what you gotta think about. That's what we deal with all day too as men. What do we do? What do we do? And then too, I feel like sometimes as we get in relationships, we're not verbalizing the expectations that we're looking for, especially because we're not talking about character. We're talking about what we do and how we do. But what we're used to is talking about what we do. Do we make a lot of money? Like we're not talking about the character of the person. We're talking about he got 6 figures. Is he 6 feet tall? Blah, blah. You know them conversations we have, but you're not talking about character now. You know what I'm saying? Can he love you correctly? Can he be a safe emotional space? Can he give space for you to share your emotions? Can we can love you properly? You know, them things like that. It's more of a character thing. And then what I say too is a lot of women and men will say, well, I'm looking for a woman or man of God. No, for me, I'm looking for a woman after God's heart. So that's gonna hit a little different, you know. So now you're talking
Mhm.
about the character. So and then too, I tell people you got to be a character checker and a fruit inspector.
I totally agree. Because a lot of times we when we're dating, it's like, I want a man or a woman of God, but that's subjective.
Yes.
It's so many people. First thing, you ask somebody what you're looking for in the potential. I want a man of God, or I want a woman of God. Yeah, but
Yeah.
what does that look like though?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because for some people, a man of God just might be somebody that go to church on Sundays, and that's it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think
You can
too, and
look.
I
Look. You could be a man of God. You could be a man of God. Just bust you upside your head too. Now.
yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Because people can claim one thing but live something totally different. And like you said, being a fruit inspector, those fruits of the spirit, do they have
Right.
those? And
Right.
sometimes we don't take the time. I interviewed a guy a couple weeks ago, and he
Hmm.
was saying how when he was dating, and I think a lot of men struggle with this too. He was like, she was fine. If she was fine, I can overlook some things and I can kind of put her into this box and to be like, okay, well, I can rock with that though. Like, she fine, opposed to like, yeah, she fine, but she's not for me. To have that kind of
Right.
confidence, let that person go, even though they might look
Yeah.
good on your elbow and all this other stuff. That might not be the person that God have for you. And that's not saying that the person God have for you doesn't isn't fine.
Yeah.
That woman in particular might not be the one for you. And sometimes I think we don't have enough faith to
Yeah.
know that God got our back.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that because I had to get to that point, especially when we're talking about not even talking about the looks, but we're talking about the accolades. If she's, sociable or she's a doctor, lawyer, things like that. She's in a great position. We can look at that, but at the same time, I don't want a woman that has she has the titles, but you don't have the character. Because I'm noticing too when I've have dated, I mean, fine, pretty, gotten degrees, doctors, lawyers, politicians, whatever, but they was emotionally poor or they was not good at relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's one thing to have a job title. What's another thing to be empathetic and
Yeah,
you know to have grace, right?
yeah,
And like you talk about, it's those character traits. We don't talk about those things enough. Rarely do we talk about how, like you say, having integrity. Are they punctual? Are they kind? Are they patient? All
yeah,
these different things, and we really don't value those things until it hurts us.
yep, yep,
So
yep.
when somebody cheat on you or somebody do something that's uncharacteristic, now all of a sudden they shoot up on the
Hmm.
chart. All of a sudden, trust is number one now because they broke you.
Right.
But you didn't talk about trust in and on day one.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Especially
So
when you
anyway,
talk about and especially when you talk about after like in you know, marriage and divorce and stuff, do you have somebody that's gonna stay in it for the long haul? Are they gonna be easy walk away when things get tough? And if you having a mental episode or if you lose a job, do they have the staying power? That's where because a lot of people don't like the long suffering part, especially when you're talking about the part of the better for worse part. That most of the time they just think of financial. It's not always financial. Well, what if I'm having a bad day, or if I have a say if I have a mental issue, are you still going to be able to deal with that? Are you still going to be able to rock me with that? Or are you going to walk away? Like it's certain things you got to look at, and certain things I feel we don't ask questions, core questions you need to have, and of course your non-negotiables, and then your non-negotiables stick with them, like because that's what your core of who you are, and
mhm,
really really make sure somebody that's aligned with you. That's big.
yeah. Yeah, and I like the fact that you talk about the mental health piece because we don't talk about that. I mean, we talk about it now, but to the degree when it comes to dating, I don't know how important or how soon we have that conversation. It's like I remember seeing Gucci Mane and his wife Keisha on
Yeah,
Breath Club, and he was talking about dealing with his episodes and having schizophrenia and stuff like that, and how she was basically like looking out for him. I was listening to the audio book and he was talking about how he would just have these episodes and he would just shave all his hair off and he about to go somewhere and she's like, you can't go outside looking like that. She
yeah,
had to protect him from him.
yeah, yeah. Facts. I know.
No, I was just about to say real quick, I'll let you go. Sometimes we don't have that conversation about the mental health piece because we just talk about going to therapy. But
Mhm.
what about the medication and all these other things? Like, do we talk about those things enough? And at what point, when do we have that conversation? Or shoot, I just found out I got diagnosed with something. Like, and you're on a date. Are you willing to share that with somebody? You
Right,
know?
right.
So
And I was gonna say the reason why I know about that so well is because in my first marriage, I just remember which maybe it probably was depression, anxiety, or that was over time as a kid and different things like that, but it didn't really hit until I got into my marriage. So I didn't know how it was. Of course, I was going through everything and different things like that. And I actually ended up going to the mental hospital because of the situation. And while I was in there, of course, I found God and different things and things happen. But when we got together, well, I was like, okay, so babe, honey, what we're gonna do is we're gonna still be together and stuff like that. But while I was in there, she brought me divorce papers. So it could have went left or whatever the case may be. But stuff like that happens. And luckily, I was in a good spot. I was, healing. I didn't stay in there long, but I knew people that was in there that was never getting out. I knew, yeah, they literally wasn't getting out. But luckily, God helped me in that area. But by the time we had talked, I had got myself together and I was good. Of course, at the time, having medicines and different things like that. but it could have been worse, but it wasn't. But I could have went over the edge because she brought me papers while I was in there, So I'm like, dang, I'm thinking, we're gonna try to work through it, you know what I'm saying? But it was all well and good. So that was hard. That was very hard at that time, very hard. Then starting over and getting myself back together and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, how did you get through that process? Well, first of all, thanks for sharing that part of
Yeah.
your story. And I want to acknowledge you for that, for sharing that. How did you bounce back from that though? Because I couldn't imagine. It's like you're already down, and then you get the papers. What was that? What
Um
was that experience for you? How did you get back to who you are today?
for me, I had to really dig deep, like, yo, what is it that you want your life to look like next? But also it was a lot of prayer, a lot of um like because I really found God in that situation, and like I got closer with him like that. Now I can fully depend on him. So because sometimes when we get in relations and marriage, we depend on our spouses and different things like and put that type of pressure on them instead of like, yo, God, I need you and things like that. So you still need both. You need Jesus and therapy, but know how to and of course you need a spouse too, but you can't put everything on them or make them your God. I'm gonna say it like that. So
Yeah.
or make the marriage your God or the entity of that. I mean, he made it, but it's not supposed to be, be God. We're supposed to be able to, in a situation, come to him so we can come together as a whole. So to make it a better situation. So that's what I really had to do. It was a lot of work to be done, a lot of healing work, therapy, of course, taking my medicines, but I winged off and, getting back in my faith, getting back my word and stuff like that. It was just a journey that I had to go through, but it just made me become who I was supposed to be today. And I found my purpose out of it too. So that's where the book, the podcast, and different things came out of that. So that's what it birthed. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I'm glad that you talked about the piece where people like put marriage on this pedestal. I know a lot of single people struggle with that. They're like, I can't wait till I get married. I'm like, don't wait until you get married to like live now,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So I tell people that God never created marriage to be more fulfilling than him.
right.
And when that happens, we take Jesus off the throne and we put marriage on the throne, or we put our
Hmm.
spouse on the throne. And then we start to realize that that person can't carry that kind of weight.
Right, right.
Um,
And
and
then
so,
too, and when I was in the hospital too, I'll add this too. I literally had to speak. I had to speak life to myself. That's what I had to
mm,
do over and over. I had to start saying you are enough, you're cared for, you're loved. And then of course scriptures and different things like that. But just really speaking back and pouring back into me what I felt like I lost. But it wasn't that I had to accept certain things about me, of course, the things I did wrong or where I failed, but also accepted some good parts about me. Because once you accept certain things about you, like, because I know for me, I can be, well, people say it's a bad thing, but they consider me being sensitive as weak. I feel like it's a strength, or me being emotionally or whatever. That doesn't mean because I'm emotional. That doesn't mean my emotions take me over. It's just that I know how to express myself. If I need to cry, I'm gonna cry. If I feel sad, I'm gonna be sad. If I'm gonna be angry, instead of balling all that in, that's why a lot of guys are in jail and prison because they decided not to hone that side of them. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
now, just because you was angry and mad and upset about something else, you over here killing somebody. Now you got 20 years for what?
yeah,
And then now you sitting in prison like, dang, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Now.
yeah. Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, what's up? What's up, everyone in TikTok land? Thank you for joining. If you have questions for our guests, feel free to drop those questions. Yes, for sure. Thank you all for joining. And so, yes, man, I love the fact that you talked about how you had to speak life to yourself, and you had to basically depend on the Lord, which is, I mean, he's more than enough. And so I'm grateful that you were able to share that with us, because sometimes people get a little nervous about sharing their testimony, but sometimes through your testimony is how someone else can be helped. And so my old pastor, he used to always say, through our nakedness we can clothe someone else,
True,
you
true.
know And so you just never know who's going to watch this video or listening to this on a podcast that can help someone. So thanks for sharing that. What baggage do divorced men bring into new relationships?
I was one of them is trying to trust again, trying to in a way not make the same mistakes, and after learning from them, you don't want to make them again, and going back into the this. Of course, we do the protector provider thing, but we got to know what that really looks like, because we can go back into the same habits of protecting and providing like how it was before. It could be just money or whatever, but and then too, learning how to guard our own heart too, because we're used to giving and things like that. Guarding our heart, but also trusting that the person we're dating or getting with, that they're gonna value that piece of us too. And being heard, like I said before, really being heard and seen in what I do, and appreciation for what I do. It might not be on this bright scale, but I want to feel appreciated too, just like you do, you know.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
goes a long way. And I even teach that with my daughter. Like my daughter, I take her out on little mini dates. She's 10. So I take her out on mini dates. So what I do is, so it was one day I was going out. Of course, I open the door for her and all the things like that for her. And she was just getting in the car. So I'm like, okay, all right. So now I gotta teach her that when you do this, even though I can open the door for her with not hear me out. Technically, a man don't have to do that because we both got arms and legs. You know what I'm saying? But what I was showing, well, look, this is what I was showing her though, that if you do this and you say thank you, the man, he will continue to do it because he feel appreciated and seen that he's done it because of that gesture. You know what I'm saying? So now she does it. She says it, not saying, but I'm showing her that when you're showing that man, or because I want her to have a fine balance too. I don't want to be just one side, one size fits all, but know that get treated like as a woman of character, but also know that there's men out there that wants to do that too. And if you see it, appreciate it. That's all. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have to be that example because our children are watching us.
Yes.
I remember going through my divorce, and because I was married almost 15 years,
Hmm.
and my daughter would ask me questions like, "Dad, like why?" And
Yeah.
she would come over on the weekends, and we would have these conversations. And she was like a teenager at the time. She was like 14, maybe.
Yeah.
But I was telling her, I was like, my daughter named Love. I said, Love, I can't tell you everything right now. I said, when you are a little older, when you're an adult, there's some things I can tell you,
Right.
and we'll be able to have these conversations. And fast forward, how time flies. And now she's in her early 20s, and so now we have these conversations, and now I can talk to her and not bashing her mom because
Yeah. Yeah.
I would never talk bad about my ex because I married her, right?
Right.
It baffles me how people talk bad about their ex, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Look, that was your choice, right?
you fell for it, So what did I say about you? So I said I'll never talk bad about my ex. But anyway, I was just saying all that to say, my daughter and I, we can't have those conversations now because she had to watch her dad go through this whole process. And it sucked, but we got through it, and we can talk now. We can have healthy conversations and not about somebody throwing slugs against their mom or
Yeah.
their dad.
Yeah. Cause they
Yeah.
got more. They got when they get older, they got more of an understanding. Cause my daughter in the same place now. She's asking questions, but in her little brain, she think like she knows. She like, Daddy, this. I'm like, we're gonna have to have this when you, yeah, like you said, you're a little bit older. But I try to put it like in a place of her age, so she can be like, she don't think I'm just leaving her hanging, but or I'm
Yeah.
ignoring her. But I try to do it in a way that she, you know, understand in a way. But I can't fully go there, but we can kind of navigate a little bit too. So
No, for sure, for sure. So, what are the green flags that a divorced man is ready to date?
green flag is when he start to trust, but also um he's open, starting to be more vulnerable. Um,
Mm.
and can be able to be honest with himself with certain things, whether it's good, better, and different.
Mhm,
And he starts to trust himself. He
mhm,
trusts
mhm,
himself. And he started to have them intimate conversations with him, like, okay, because now he knows where he's going at and purpose wise and different things like that. So the
mhm.
purpose is, well, we've been dating for blah blah a year. Now I want to lead towards being married or, committed relationship, whatever people are choosing these days. So you just start to have them more of them type of conversations instead of just, oh, we just winging it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good because when I remarried, I was fully on board. People thought I was crazy because I dated my wife. We dated long distance, and we married 6 months in 6 months. But Jonathan, I trust that I was doing the right thing, and so that was something that I can wholeheartedly be okay with. Like, yeah, this was my decision because I was the type of person when I was growing up, I will always depend on other people to tell me, help me, guide me through things. So if things
Yeah.
didn't work, I'll be like, well, they told me. And,
Right.
and I had to grow out of that. And
Yeah.
so as I got older, I had to start trusting myself and my
Yeah.
decision making. And be like, you know what? Even if I'm wrong, even if I make a mistake, like that's okay. It's okay to
Yeah.
make mistakes. Just be hopeful that you can come back from it, depending on what it
Right.
is. You
Right.
know,
Look, when you get a certain age, you like, man, I ain't trying to make no more of them. See, I ain't got too many chances in me.
I I tell my wife, at this age, man, I'm 48. I'm like, at this age, I can't afford another oops.
Right.
Oops
Well,
are for
it don't
25-year-olds.
it don't matter. Oops either.
So speaking of this, what's your advice to divorce men afraid of repeating past mistakes?
I would say, dude, before you even, first of all, first thing I would say is find your purpose first. I would say that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I feel like this before Adam even found a wife, he found his purpose.
Yep.
So once you take the time to find your purpose, what that looks like, even if you're working on it or being in it, hone yourself in it, whatever that looks like for you, find that first, find your purpose first. But now you can find the woman that fits or
Mhm.
align with that. Now you ain't
Mhm.
just out here when you get what are you trying to find your purpose, because that's hard to do too. That's like trying to date and you trying to like going trying to heal at the same time. That's not gonna work,
Yeah.
because you're gonna start hurting people along the way. So I would say the first thing to do is find your purpose and start your true healing journey on whatever that looks like for you. It means therapies, that means grounding yourself, or that means writing, whatever that looks like for you. If it means traveling, do that stuff and start to find out what you like, what you don't like. Start to learn yourself again, because you lose your identity in marriage sometimes. You lose yourself. And not saying that when you in marriage that you not saying you're supposed to lose yourself, but you're supposed to come together so you can be different, have things in common too at the same time. You can't be
Mhm.
so far off the spectrum that it's not, because it could be one little thing that can make y'all a non-negotiable that can make it go not the right way. I mean, but know the vision of where y'all trying to go. It might be two different people or two. Like, it's kind of like being on the boat. Somebody might be a captain, somebody might be a deckhand or whatever, but we still going to the same way. You know what I'm saying? We might got different functions, but we're going the same way. We know the vision to go to uh the Bahamas, but I know I got to do my function. No, you got to do your function, and we're leading that way. You know what I'm saying? I might not know what your function might do, or but I know a little bit about it. I might not know everything, but I know I have to trust you in that area. I gotta
Mhm.
trust the captain. I don't know about navigation, but I gotta trust them. And I gotta
Yeah.
know if they the deckhand that you when we get to this port, you're gonna put us so we can be able to be straight so the winds and stuff won't, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
I
my
agree.
analogy, but
No, it's all good. I hear you, man. I think it is important for a man to know his purpose because, and I talked about this before on a previous episode, there's like two schools of thought when it comes to this, especially, being a man and being going through a divorce. The two school of thoughts are, of course, know your purpose, do what you need to do, and then you find a woman along the way that can fit that, right? But the other school of thought is there's a woman in your life that can help take you to another level, that kind of thing. Like she maybe can help you see some stuff that maybe you don't see. So there's
Mhm.
two schools of thought. And so I think it kind of varies, from man to man or whatever your thought process is. But no,
Yeah,
I totally agree that you should have your purpose first,
yeah,
or at least know and be on
yeah,
your way.
yeah, yeah. At least that. Yeah, at least got to know that because you don't want to do it. Because I think in my first match, I was like, I knew I was on my way of doing it, like being a barber. I knew I want to be an instructor and stuff like that, and things that I did. I was on my way. I was in it. Kind of in my head, I was like, dang, I should have been here before, already in it. But I was on my way in purpose. It wasn't perfect and different things like that. And I think she was she was trying to figure out her way or how she wanted to do it. And I thought we was aligned in the way of what we wanted to do, but things changed. So it was like we just the thing was we never got back to the drawing board. That's what it was. We never got back to the drawing board. So we didn't have no vision. I knew I wanted to do barbering, and then she was like, I want to do something else. And I'm like, okay, in my head, I'm like, did we put a monkey in the wrist? So how can we never got back to the part of like, okay, what does this truly looks like? Then now you think about it, start having kids and start life. And that now you don't put that on the back burner. And now you just start to just go with the motion now. You go in the motion of the ocean and just wherever it's taking you, I'm just going. And well, we be like, where we go up, where we on the course to go to Bahamas? No, we on the course to go to Mexico. Where we go? Where are we really going?
Yeah, right. No, I hear you, man, because the Bible talks about how can two walk together unless they agree, right?
Right.
And so having that shared vision and purpose, I think it does help keep you focused, especially when she supports you because she's gonna hold you accountable.
Right.
That woman, she's gonna be like, you said you was gonna do this.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So no, I agree. Last question. If you could give divorced men one piece of wisdom about love, what would it be?
I would say about love. First thing I would say, attract what you become what you attract. So what I mean by that is before you love yourself first. Love who you are, love everything about you, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. Even the things that your quirky things, whatever that is, you gotta find that first and love them things about you and just truly love you, love who you are, love what God says about you, love your relationship with him, loving your mind, whatever you feel that you need to love about you, go find that, look for, and in that you're gonna start finding your purpose and calling different things like that. So loving you is loving God because God loves you. So he wants the best for you at all times. Whether you're
Yeah.
having a bad day, good day, indifferent day, learning that he loves you through it all. So then once you start to do that, you can attract the woman that truly I would say because women need love. Well, yeah, women need love, men need respect. So I always say a man has to find a woman that loves him, but a woman got to find a man that she can respect.
Mhm,
So because
mhm.
that's love is just different. We need respect, they need love. So once you find that, because I always say this too, some of them, a lot of women, they want the the guy that they're dating, they just want another. Sometimes they just want another girlfriend. That's not that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get it. Or man, he's like, I don't want a woman is that's being a dude coming home. We don't want that either. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's a fine line, but you just got to be careful. But like I said, when it comes to love after divorce, separation, but after the divorce, start loving and pouring back into you to what you really want and start to become what that is in purpose. So me being a barber, instructor, author, and all these things that I have, I became it and then I got it out and that's what I received back. That's why I'm now on the podcast with you and now I can articulate, you know what I'm saying? Like I've done that work and the healing work. So now I can do that now. Like, cause you got to put the time in, put the effort and do that true healing. but love yourself. I would say that. And my famous quote I always say is, "Life is good. It just only gets better."
Love it.
Then you just then the other one I say too is, if you want to do on the spiritual side, I would say God is good and God just gets better.
Yeah. That's what's up. Love it. Well, on that note, this has been a phenomenal episode, man. Jonathan, thanks again for stopping by and being vulnerable and sharing your transparency. So I want to acknowledge you for those things. Uh, let everyone know how they can get in touch with you, where they can get the book, all that other good stuff.
Okay, you can go on Amazon and find my book. Actually, I got it right here. It's called More Than a Barber. On Amazon, you can get it there. And my podcast is I Hear You Bro 2 on IG. I mean, right now I got some episodes and stuff I'm working on too, so I'm gonna have some good stuff coming. So I'm really excited about that. And I Hear You Bro is just more to having conversations with men, and I'm gonna have some women on the show too, talking about, of course, um, relationships, divorce, and things like that. But also we can go deep and have these conversations, because I want to be able to have these conversations without the gender war, if I could put it like that. So we should be able to sit down, have the conversation, and understand why we feel background, different things, where we came from, because now we're talking about history, and also history of what we've been through, but also where's this world really coming from? Because we got to talk about it, because if we let the social media do it, they're gonna keep us split. And
Yep.
that's not what we need, because now we're talking about the nuclear family, and you want to be able to have healthy kids now. And also, I want to be able to normalize it. I want to normalize a healthy marriage. I want to normalize healthy kids. I want to normalize um, men loving their wives, women loving their husbands, be able to have hard conversations, and not, oh, I want to get a divorce or separation or whatever. We can actually talk about it and really feel it from the inside out, so, and I feel like even though you go through conflict, you should be able to, through the conflict, you should be able to, it should bring you to more together, because now I know the true you. And it might
Yep.
be something I never heard in your past that makes me even more connected, like, I see that empathy, I see that, dang, that really did hurt you, and it makes me want to love you even the more. So, yeah.
Hmm. Love it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I will have everything linked in the description below. Everyone who's watching, make sure you hit them likes. Give us that thumbs up. We would love that. We appreciate it. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. If you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and review. By doing so, put you in a drawing for a free Amazon gift card. Who doesn't like free stuff? And so this is Sean Heineman with my special guest, Jonathan Mayo. And
Let's go.
we are out. Stay on the line with me, Jonathan. Hold on.